What's up, T.O.Gs, and welcome to those new to the channel. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure if at any time you find yourself nodding your head that you tap that like button, or if you're saying to yourself, yeah, I want more of this, smush that subscribe button. So, this video may ruffle some feathers, but ever since I published my video on the Livewire, I've wanted to have this specific discussion. First off, I love Harley-Davidson. I love what they mean to the culture of riding, to the community, and to the history of motorcycles in the United States. However, despite how I feel, in my opinion, Harley's in trouble. Now, this is not a new argument. In fact, you can watch a variety of videos that have made solid arguments similar to the ones that I'm going to make today, but with the Livewire in full force, with marketing and pre-orders, I thought it would be a good time to have this conversation. Now, before I dive in, I want to preface this with the fact that I am not an economist or a salesman. I'm just a guy who loves motorcycles and has an opinion. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Number one, they waited too long to start reaching out to a younger demographic. Harley-Davidson sales and stocks have decreased pretty steadily since 2014, but it wasn't until 2018 that they introduced the new Softail lineup and showed significant changes to the brand's overall aesthetic, including some minor advances in technology. This was a classic case of too little too late though. Too little in that so many other motorcycle manufacturers offer much more in terms of integration of modern tech into their machines, and too late because in 2018 the company was 4 years into a slide in significant sales decreases. 2. Harley's attempts to gain younger customers are sabotaged by their price point. Alright, I get that HD is a premium brand of motorcycle, but even speaking with Harley dealers, they understand the urgency in needing to make changes. Something I've heard a lot in speaking with dealers is that so many of their repeat customers are buying their last bike. They're aging out. And if that's the case, nostalgia can only carry you for so long. With that in mind, if the goal is to bring in younger customers to stay relevant in the future, the company needs an affordable, approachable motorcycle that can introduce new and young riders to the brand. I felt like the Street Series was a sidestep. Was it geared toward a younger and different demographic than traditional Harley riders? Yes. But was it going to get those buyers excited to get a new Softail or a touring bike? I don't think so. The Sportster is still a great introduction to riding, but if you have no attachment to the Harley brand, there are more affordable options, and at the same price point, you can definitely get more bike for your buck. 3. By introducing and changing their classic lines, they are not scoring with their core customers. This was a lose-lose. HD absolutely needed change. So they made some modifications to classic lines, and consequently there was a lot of grumbling. But they absolutely had to do this. The brand was stagnant and a major tweak was necessary. However, at the same time, it seemed to alienate the older generation of riders. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these riders have already bought their last motorcycle. I do applaud Harley for sticking to their guns though by going all in with the new Softails, and it seems that the sentiment is shifting. So maybe what seemed like lose-lose in the beginning could pay off in the long run. 4. Harley-Davidson has scratched the surface of updating their bikes, but they have not gone far enough. Now, this is probably not a widely shared point of view, but with everything that has been introduced in motorcycle tech in the last 5 to 10 years, I have seen not enough of that introduced into HD bikes. For example, there is a lot of excitement around the FTR 1200 by Indian, and sitting on that bike and seeing reviews coming out recently, it seems to be living up to the hype. Harley's answer has been the Livewire. And for all the to-do coming from Harley themselves, I haven't felt the same swell of energy from the community. And that brings me back to price point. The FTR 1200 starts around $15,000, and the Livewire starts near $30,000. Now, just so that I'm not being misinterpreted here, I'm not suggesting these two bikes are comparable. But what I am saying is that they are geared towards a similar age demographic. My demographic. But while I love the idea of the Livewire, I couldn't even begin to consider buying one. Not at 30 grand. And so the chasm grows larger between the company and its customers. They feel like we should pay whatever they ask for their motorcycles, and we're simply saying no thank you. Now, I want to go back to what I said earlier. I love Harley-Davidson motorcycles. I've owned 3 of them and will likely own another one in the future. But while the world moves ahead, Harley needs to stop reveling in the past and start planning for the future. They obviously aren't going away, but that doesn't mean we won't see the closing of dealers and the slowing of production in the United States. And that's not even mentioning worldwide, where the cost of a Harley already is much higher, and then tariffs on top of that have driven the prices to ridiculous levels. The world changes so quickly now, and we need to know that the company is willing to change quickly with it. Next year we are supposed to see the Street Fighter, but I haven't heard nearly enough about it yet. It seems like when the FTR 1200 was going to be released, there was so much hype and there was already so much publicity about it that we couldn't help get excited about it before its release. Now conversely, I've heard enough about the Livewire already, and fatigue is really, for me, is starting to set in. Now, we'll just have to wait and see what happens next with Harley-Davidson. I really believe that there is a way to listen carefully to the next generation of riders while still paying homage to the traditionalists. And when you look at Dodge, Chevy, and Ford, they've been doing it for years with the Challenger, the Camaro, even the Corvette, and the Mustang. And it's been working out for them. Now let's just hope that HD goes the same route and that it pans out the same for them. I'm sure I'm not the only one waiting and watching eagerly to see where they go next. Well, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it to the end, leave a comment on what you're most looking forward to in Harley's future. Make sure that if you like what you saw, to punch that thumbs up, which is the like button, and if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Peeps, if you're out there riding, be safe, and if you're not riding, get riding. I'm that one guy, and I am out.